everyone. Welcome back to the United Star. I have Rishi and Priyan with me, and we're going to preview the game against Sheffield United. It's a very important game in terms of how we're placed for the Champions League race. And if I recall, the first game it was 3-all, and we came back to win 2-1, and then at the 90th minute, I think Les Mousset equalized and made it 3-2. We did beat them 1-0 in the FA Cup. So Rishi, let me bring you in. What do you think? How important this game is, and how Sheffield, like the history of the game, what are you expecting?
Firstly, everyone knows how good defensively Sheffield are, and that's been United's biggest problem this season is breaking down teams like that. We have been good with the 3-5-2 against teams who attack us because we can break with the quick players that we have. But we don't have anyone who can break down teams who sit behind like Sheffield and who have a very good defensive record. We bought Bruno for that reason, but like everyone, Bruno's human, and we saw his human side last game where it's fair to say uh, if those kind of performances come again and again, it'll be a big question mark of our signings again. So, in terms of Ole proving that his team's capable of breaking teams down, it's a big plus for me. Now, in terms of the table as well, it's very important because, as you know, they're right behind us and Chelsea are ahead, and we have to win to get ahead. But for me, I view it as a more long term issue, which is can we break down teams and do we have the ability to break down teams?
Right. Priyan, the first game, Rishi said it's difficult to break down, but we did come back 3-2 and then we conceded. Right. And so, what do you think in terms of that? That is it possible? What tactics would we be going in with, and what kind of a formation are you thinking of?
Yeah, we did come back, but I still not very confident with our abilities to break down a team which is sitting back. And we rely very heavily on our counter attacks and our pace up front. I think Peter Drury said that when there is no space between the back line and the goalkeeper of the opposite team, and our attackers don't have the space to run into, we find it very difficult to score a goal. And I think that's a big problem for us. We've faced this throughout the season. Um, I think against Sheffield, we would need to start Pogba. He showed what he is, and I mean, he was just a game changer when he came onto the field. I also think Mason Greenwood should start instead of James because he was much more decisive and he was much more he was much more influential to the game. James, I think, is not yet. I think I rate him for in the future, but right now he's still not United ready. I think he has to be given time. Yeah, so I think otherwise and I would also think we could start with the 3-5-2 instead of a 4-2-3-1, which we did.
Okay.
I'd like to see Brandon Williams come in on
So
the left
Priyan, why
wing
don't you
back
just take
position.
us? Priyan, why don't you just take us through your team? You were saying we'll go for a 3-5-2. So why don't you
Yeah.
just walk through your 11?
So I think our three centre backs would be Luke Shaw, Maguire, and Lindelof, with Brandon Williams on the left and Wan-Bissaka on the right. Then Bruno, Pogba, and Fred, and uh, Martial and Rashford up front.
Right, Martial and Rashford up front. Rishi, do
Yeah.
you agree with that? That we're going to go with a 3-5-2, or do you think we'll go for a more conventional 4-3-3 that we've played?
Personally, I see Ole not playing the 4-3-3 and he plays a 4-2-3-1 usually. But yeah, I don't think the 3-5-2 is the correct option for this game is because it with the five at the back, we don't give enough opportunities for the players up front to create enough. And we desperately need uh, wing backs to push as high as possible to support the likes of Rashford, who tend to cut in a bit more. So we have someone to cross the ball and someone who can cross the ball. So I personally believe we should go for a 4-3-3 or what Ole likes to play is a 4-2-3-1. The back four will be the same as last game, which will be Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Lindelof, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right. Now, in Ole's post-match press conference, he was talking about how Pogba's coming back from a long injury, and so it's my belief that Pogba won't start the game, and if he does start the game, he won't get the full game. So I'm going to go with the same midfield, which is McTominay, Fred, and Bruno,
Bruno.
simply because Pogba, I don't think Ole thinks he's fit enough yet to start the game and to play it out completely. And up front three, I would like to see a change. The first change I'd like to see is Marshall off for Greenwood as a striker. And the second change is Daniel James for Jesse Lingard. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of Jesse Lingard, but on his day, Jesse Lingard can take players on. And when he does take players on, he's good at that. And we've seen it in the FA Cup final and all. When he takes three players on and he gets a open shot, he can score some very crazy goals. And it's my opinion that for teams like Sheffield who tend to sit back a lot, that's what we need. We need that one player who has that one moment of magic, who can take three players on and then get the shot and get the goal. So personally, I'd like to see Jesse Lingard start on the right, even though he's not my favorite.
So I disagree with Priyan that we will play a 3-5-2. I think we will play a 4-2-3-1. I think the defense will pick itself, but I really think that McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno will play, because I think this is a game we really need to win, right? Even more than the Tottenham game, this is the game we need to win. So I think McTominay, Bruno, and Pogba will play in the middle, with Bruno playing the furthest forward, and Martial will play as the lone striker with Rashford on the left, and I'd love to see Greenwood play on the right. I agree with Priyan there that Dan James is done. So yeah, I don't see Lingard play. I don't think Lingard should play. I don't trust Jesse Lingard at all. So I don't think he will play. But let's talk about a few matchups. One of the key things is going to be that Sheffield United will be without Dean Henderson. So how much will that impact them? Because we saw against even Aston Villa that Villa created a lot of chances and only Henderson was the one keeping them out. So what do you all think? Rishi, what's your view?
See, personally, my belief is we aren't getting past the last line to even test the keeper. I mean, last game we tested Lloris maybe twice, if I'm not wrong. And one of them, Rashford, went for it and didn't even end up getting his head on the ball after going for it. So I don't think them losing their main keeper is going to be such a big problem for them, because that back line is strong and they'll be ready to, they know how to play against us, is what I'm trying to say. So personally, I don't believe it's going to be such a big loss for them.
But Priyan, from a confidence perspective, what do you think that we scored 3 goals against them? So in 2 games we've played against them in the cup and the league, we scored 4 goals, which is quite a lot considering how difficult it's been for us to break teams down. So from a confidence perspective, do you think that it might make a difference that Henderson isn't there?
I think so. I think mentally it would make a difference because Henderson has been phenomenal for Sheffield this season. And even from the Sheffield point of view, having Dean Henderson in the goal, it's sort of very calming for them. It's a good influence on them because they know they can trust the goalkeeper. I don't think they would be able to trust the keeper who comes in now. I don't know who he is. But yeah, I think mentally it makes a huge difference having Henderson on or off.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
Prashant, I'd
Priyan,
like to.
having seen.
Sorry, Prashant, I'd
Yeah,
like to
go ahead.
pick on the point you said about how we scored 3 against them in the league and 1 in the cup. But I'd also like to point out that we are always scoring after being on the back foot. What that means is when they have taken the lead, that's when we've thrown everything at them. Okay, that's when we've uh, gambled. We've played McTominay as a defender and thrown everyone up front. So my point is that our plan has never been to break down teams. Our plan has been to try to get a goal somehow, and then if nothing happens, then go all out, like, just do whatever we can to get the goal. So that's why I'm saying that teams like Sheffield United, if they're disciplined, which we have seen them being, it's going to be a big problem for United, especially considering the fact that we've come from a high, then we hit a break, and now we've hit a low again. So it's these questions that will play on everyone's mind, so fans, Ole's, and the players.
No, I think that's a very valid point. In fact, I was just going to ask you that, Priyan, that looking at the last game also we went down. So, what are some of the things we'll be taking in from last game? Are there any positives, and which are the players you're going to look out for from a United perspective, from Manchester United? That is.
I think one big problem that we had was when Bruno came into the team, he was a revelation and he played very well, and everyone thought he's a messiah. But I mean, he's again human. So if he has an off game like he had against Spurs, the entire team, there's no creativity. There's nothing happening in the midfield. So I think we are a bit too over reliant. Already very early on, we're too over reliant on Bruno to have that moment of magic to play that pass over the top. So I think I personally feel like we need Pogba for that to sort of shoulder the burden along with him, that creative burden that is there. Uh, yeah, I think from last game, positives, I don't know. I don't think so. I was pretty disappointed with the game.
Right. Let's
Adding to
get.
Priyan's point, I'd like to add to Priyan's point to talk about the mentality of the players. Okay, we like to pretend like Rashford and all are young players, and when they perform well, we like to say that age is just a number. But what I'd like to say is players like Rashford have had a numerous number of games. They've played finals. They've had experience against playing against top teams. Okay, and if they still can't take the creative burden now, when it's most required, when we are fighting for the top four, when the manager has I think a do or die situation, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay. It's times like these that make players who they are, like their personality. And if we are continuously reliant on new players coming in like Bruno and Pogba, that speaks volumes about the academy that we're bringing up. That speaks volumes about the management that we have. And if that's the problem, then I think we have much more serious problems than we can agree upon or see right now.
Rian, can you give me a quick scoreline? What do you think the scoreline is going to be, and one man of the match for United?
Uh, I don't think we'll have a clean sheet, so I'd go for 2-1 United, and I'd expect Rashford to get back into form, and
Rishi,
he'll
for
be
you?
my man of the match.
I think I'm gonna go for a 2-1 United, and I think my man of the match is gonna be Greenwood. Personally, when he came on last game, he looked good. He was taking players on as if like they weren't existing, and he was doing it well. He lost the ball very like I think only once or twice while taking players on, and I think he's the spark that we need against Sheffield United. I'm hoping Rashford can be that two down the left, but let's hope. Let's see what happens. So
I'm
my man of the match will
I'm
be
gonna make
Greenwood.
I'm gonna make a bold call here, and I think we'll win this game 3-1, and Bruno Fernandes will and Rashford, both of them will be instrumental, and maybe Rashford will be the man of the match. But I think, yeah, we agree that this game is incredibly important, and Rishi has raised some valid concerns about the mentality of the team, and Priyan too about how we might find it difficult to break Sheffield United down. So let's see what happens, guys. Please comment what you all think about this, and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's hope that we win this game and get the ball rolling. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and see you next time.
Thanks, Prashant.